On the surface, empires dazzle. Marble palaces rise toward the heavens, wrapped in gold and glory. Statues stand tall, proclaiming victories carved into stone. In the streets, poets praise the leaders, generals parade through gates, and the masses cheer for the illusion of permanence. From the outside, empires appear indestructible, machines of power built to last forever. But beneath the marble and gold, the cracks begin to form. They start small, whispers in the court, corruption in the marketplace, a blind eye turned for convenience, a truth buried because it's inconvenient to power, and slowly, inevitably, what seemed solid begins to rot. Because no empire falls in a day. The collapse begins not at the edges, but at the core, where decay hides behind beauty. Take the Roman Empire. For centuries, it stood as the apex of civilization. Roads, aqueducts, architecture, law. Rome's marble columns still haunt the world, as if the stones themselves refuse to forget. But while Caesar's heirs held feasts in gold-lined halls, the empire's foundation crumbled. Behind the grandeur of the Forum and the Colosseum, the Senate lost its power, the army became mercenary, and emperors turned on their own people. The poor starved while the rich feasted. Citizens no longer believed in the Republic, only in survival. In the end, it wasn't the barbarians who destroyed Rome. It was Rome that hollowed itself out, until one push was all it took. The cracks were already there, hidden under marble and pride. Centuries earlier, Egypt basked in a similar glow. The pharaohs built pyramids that kissed the sky and claimed divinity as birthright. The Nile provided, the temples glistened, and their gods watched from the stars. But the dynasties became obsessed with legacy rather than leadership. Resources were drained for tombs while people suffered. Priests grew more powerful than kings, and internal power struggles tore the land apart. Egypt didn't fall to invasion first. It fell to its own complacency. Even the mighty Ming Dynasty of China, known for its majestic Forbidden City and immense naval fleets, was not immune. For a time, China led the world in wealth, art, and science. Admiral Zheng, whose treasure ships dwarfed anything Europe had. But fear of change, court intrigue, and conservative paranoia led the emperors to turn inward. The fleets were burned. The maps were hidden. Innovation was crushed under bureaucracy. They painted the palace walls, but let the foundations crack. Empires die when their leaders confuse surface strength with inner health. The British Empire, which once ruled over 1/5 of the world's population, wrapped itself in the prestige of civilization. It built railways, universities, courts. But beneath that polish was exploitation, theft, and racism. Colonies bled while London glittered. The gold of the empire was often stolen. Resistance movements grew not from outside malice, but from righteous rage. The cracks appeared in India, in Africa, in Ireland, until the foundation gave way. The empire did not collapse in a single war. It bled out through decades of resistance and internal contradiction. All the while, the buildings still stood. The flags still flew. But inside, the empire was already gone. Even in recent memory, the Soviet Union followed the same tragic script. On the world stage, it boasted of industrial power, military might, and ideological purity. It sent men to space. It paraded missiles in Red Square. But inside, the system was rotting. The economy suffocated under central planning. Dissent was crushed, not answered. People whispered the truth only behind closed doors. When the Berlin Wall fell, it wasn't just a political event. It was the sound of illusions breaking. Because every empire, no matter how powerful, eventually faces a choice: evolve or ossify. The empires that endure are the ones that listen, that adapt, that invest not just in monuments but in people. But those that chase perfection, image, and control over truth, those are doomed. They polish the marble while ignoring the cracks. And by the time they notice the rot, it's too late. But these stories are not just about history, they're warnings. Because the signs are timeless. When leaders silence opposition and reward only loyalty, cracks form. When wealth pools at the top while the base erodes, cracks form. When art, science, and thought are censored in favor of obedience, cracks form. When truth is bent to serve pride, cracks form. The collapse doesn't always come with fire or war. Sometimes it comes with silence, with citizens who no longer care, with systems that no longer function, with a loss of meaning so deep that no gold leaf can cover it. And yet, there's hope in this knowledge, because the cracks can be repaired if seen in time. Empires are made of people, not stone. And the strongest foundation is not fear or pride, but trust, justice, wisdom. The ability to look beneath the surface and ask, what's really holding us together? When marble fades and gold tarnishes, what remains? That's the question every civilization must answer. Because the marble can impress the world, but it cannot save you. The gold can blind your rivals, but it cannot hold your empire together. And when the storm comes, it will not be the tallest tower that endures, but the deepest root. So remember, history does not admire beauty, it honors resilience. And the greatest warning is not a scream, but a crack you choose not to hear.